Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So I wanted to do this relationship video on 3 reasons why you should create a dating plan. And looking at the dating plan by using kind of traffic signals like red, yellow, and green lights. So I don't know why I've never known about this, but I don't know, I think it was in September. I teach yoga to LGBT seniors, and there's a psychologist who comes, and we were just talking about relationship stuff, and he said, look, he goes, the gay world and the straight world is the exact same thing. He goes, I counsel all of my young people to have a dating plan. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So at the time he mentioned this, I have a friend who went through a sex love addiction course, and so she has graduated from that, and within that counseling session, it's almost like AA, but for people who are kind of love addicts or sex addicts and things like that. They made her create a dating plan to kind of re-enter the world, so you're not getting like hooked or addicted to people who are negative or bad for you. And I thought, wow, what a great concept. Like, I went through a divorce support group in late 2017, early 2018, and I got a lot of tips from that, but I never heard about having a dating plan. And so I heard this from a psychologist, but also from a friend who has gone through this kind of course to help her through her issues. And so I thought it was a great idea. And so I did that recently. And so I recommend other people for doing it. So how I did mine is I kind of wrote like the idealistic world of like Elizabeth, that I focused on the qualities that I really genuinely need or want in this life, which for me would be more like loyalty and honesty, getting really to the deep root of the person. And then um, and then I made a list of kind of red flags, yellow flags, and green flags. So red flags kind of um, are symbolic to like either ending it now, or it's like this is just not going to work. Things that I just can't, have in my life at this point of my life experience. For example, one thing would obviously be somebody who drinks all the time, or somebody who is a pornography user. Those type of things would be red flags. A yellow flag is more of like a proceed with caution. It's like, I can kind of live with this if something else kind of balances out, or if there's something within moderation. And then you have green flags, which are like your go sign. Green is for go. It's like to move forward and everything like that. So what I recommend is to really focus. So if you are single and looking to date somebody, is just to focus on what you really want. I would look at the quality of life that you want. And I'm not talking about from a superficial standpoint. Now, I did make a list when I was 23. I read The Secret and read all these spiritual books. And I wrote a list of 100 qualities that I like in a guy. And a lot of that included physical qualities. So it was like over 6 foot tall. I really liked blue eyes in a guy. I like brown hair. And like my ex-husband matched 92 bullet points out of 100. And I was like, well, this is pretty good. It's kind of what I'm looking for. But the problem is with that, it was like a form of social engineering, because I was focusing also on like physical qualities, which to some degree, I'm not like, there has to be some form of sexual attraction and things like that. And you have to, be attracted to the person. So there are certain types of guys or women, depending obviously on what you're looking for, that will meet those qualities. But the reality is, if you're looking at the heart of the person, those physical qualities are not going to be like the number one thing in the life. There's a lot of women who judge guys, especially out here in Seattle. They love tech guys because they make a lot of money. I'm completely the opposite. I'm like, if you work for Amazon and Microsoft, like, it's like a -1, because tech people are just different in general. So I just think like focusing on money or actual like materialistic things, like, is she a size 4 and stuff like that? Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. Maybe the love of your life will be a size 10. It's like, you don't know about that. But focusing on the quality of the person, the way they live their life, how they handle themselves, their emotional intelligence, their characteristic character, the character, the sorry, their personal characteristics. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry about that. So, making a dating plan is very wise, and this is wise for 3 reasons. So, the first reason is that it keeps things realistic before love blinds you. If you're a nice guy or a nice girl, sometimes you put up with a bunch of shit because you're a nice person. You don't want to ruffle the feathers, or you're just really focused on a few of the qualities of this person has, and then you're like, well, I'm a nice person, so I'm going to accept them for who they are. And maybe they're like a narcissist, or maybe they're drinking too much, or has a porn addiction or something like that. So there are certain qualities, once the heart starts mending itself with somebody and emotions are getting really rooted with somebody, it's really easy to blind. Love can be very blinding, and a lot of us can make very stupid, poor, and bad decisions because we are following the heart. And I've learned this lesson because every spiritual community I've been in for like the majority of my life has always talked about following the heart. And then when I started exploring Christianity more, one of my friends was like, he gave me a couple of Bible verses that actually talked about how the heart is very deceiving and the heart can be very blinding. And so if you take that wisdom and you apply it to a situation to where it's like, I love this person, but deep down, this is really bad for you. That's where following the heart can be very, very detrimental for you. It's the same thing in life. If you're making a decent living and all of a sudden you follow your heart to become a painter, and then you're a broke artist making like $500 a month, because you followed your heart, now all of a sudden you lost like your stability in your life. So the heart is an amazing thing to follow in with balance, but also by using your mind. So the dating plan keeps things realistic, and it's like you've set these goals and your standards for yourself before you even met this person. And a lot of times people can be, whether you're a man or a woman, people can be very, very manipulative, and they can start to manipulate your mind. And this dating plan will, it's clearly written on paper or on a Word document on a computer that it's like, you know what? No, this is, I can't go this route. So the second reason why creating a dating plan is a good idea is because you can let go of uneven desires. So what's an uneven desire? If you meet someone and you really like the person and you want to get married, that's like your goal in life, but this person doesn't really know what they think about marriage, and they're like, well, it's kind of like a business contract. Like, I've met people that were like that throughout my time of being single, and I've also seen some of my friends enter relationships like that, and they've put up and dealt with a bunch of shit for a long time, and 8 years later they're breaking up because he still wasn't into marriage. And it's like, you knew this 6 to 7 years ago, and you kind of hung around hoping that it would change, or this person kind of blinded and deceived them to say like, oh yeah, this is what I want, and it just never cultivated. And there's a reason why it didn't cultivate. And so when you can get the major life goals on paper, you can start to let go of things, of people that are not on your same wavelength. And some of it's going to be really hard and sad, and I don't know, maybe unfair. I mean, life's unfair in a lot of different ways. And I'm not saying it's easy, but you know what? It's going to be very, very easy to end stuff within the first like 6 months when you get to know somebody, as compared to, already 5 years in and you're like, God, I invested this time. I'm older, all right, I'm going to deal with this. So you can let go of uneven desires, especially with major life goals. And 3, it just doesn't waste time. I mean, 2 and 3, the bullet point 2 and 3 are kind of similar. But why would you want to waste time on something? If you have a certain life goal, whether that is to get married or to live a healthy life, if you want to live a healthy life, do you want to be dating somebody who smokes pot every day or drinks alcohol, just to relax at night after work? Like, that's going to impede on a major decision on your life. Anytime you have certain unhealthy habits, even if it's like chronically eating fast food every day, it's like, you know, I'm not judging that person for eating fast food, but for somebody that works as a health coach and in personal training, it's like, okay, fast food every now and then, whatever, that's fine. But if it's like an everyday thing, there's like a certain level of standard where it's like this person, isn't really taking care of themselves on the same level as I am. And some of that could be vain, and maybe that's a yellow flag that you can kind of like proceed with caution. But, down the road, it's like if you have a family, are you going to want that child to be eating fast food all the time? So then, there might be like parenting conflicts and stuff like that. But it just doesn't waste time. It's like if you're a healthy person, probably you want somebody on a similar wavelength of you that kind of at least chooses some like healthier food options, or at least tries, like the majority of the week. And then maybe you eat out or whatever, junk food on the weekends, like that stuff happens. But yeah, it just doesn't waste anyone's time. And then, when you don't waste time, you're not expending energy of, people's hearts getting broken and stuff like that. So these are some thoughts that I have. I hope if you are in the world of dating, you would consider making a dating plan and just kind of writing out your idealistic person that is not from a superficial level, but looking at qualities like if you want your life to be filled with honesty, loyalty, and commitment. If you're a polyamorous person, maybe that's what you want. No judgment there. It's just, laying out your idealistic life, and then being realistic with your red, yellow, and green flags. So these are some thoughts that I have. If you have any comments on what you think, definitely write them down below. Dating is a very complex thing. I don't think it's easy, especially once you get to know, because some people can have such high standards that's like things just never happen for them because they're unwilling to budge on certain human things in life. But anyways, yeah, if you would like, please help me build this channel. You can subscribe to it, and thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.